Live. We are live. Hello. I can't tell if anybody is out there, but hello. Howdy ho. Wow, that's the lamest start to the movie club I have ever done. It's because I think I'm still trying to figure out if anybody is out there. But, somebody's out there now. Hey. So, as always, you know, the trio, hopefully if this is your first time stopping by, then hello. My name's Jennifer here at Vintage Vanity. With me, as always, are my two better quarters. No, thirds. My two better thirds. We have Heather from How to Be Fancy.
Hi.
You look cute.
Thank you.
And we have JL from Modern Retro Gal.
Hello.
And with us so far, they're coming in, guys. You're all coming in. I love it. We've got Mary Vintage Camper Gal saying hello. Ian's mummy is here, which of course that makes me think of Doctor Who. Are you my mummy? You're my mummy. And Lizzie Violet is here as well. So hello. You know, we got some other people out there. So, and Cecilia Kitten is here. Celiac Kitten. I think I've been saying that as Cecilia this whole time. It's Celiac Kitten. Wow. Wow. She has put up with a lot of mispronunciations of her usernames. Thank you very much.
We gave you a nickname.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I apologize in advance for all the barking I'm going to be doing in my elbow because I've been hit with the zombie plague. Jason Wilson is here. Hello, Jason. And Yolanda is here as well. And Lizzie's saying, "Oh, we looking sassy. Oh, yeah." Stephanie Waddell is here saying hello. And Psycho Bout of Hell has been renamed. It is Coffin Doll. It's been quite a while since we've seen you. So hello, I'm so glad you made it. And a Psycho Bout of Hell, that is a mouthful, but I like it. That's a good mouthful. All right, so tonight, I don't know if you guys had a chance, Beauty of Valinor is here, so hi. If you guys had a chance to watch the movie or not, that is okay. It is not a requirement to being here. You don't have had to have seen the movie. In fact, a lot of times you can come here, find out what we thought, and decide if you want to see the movie. We are going to be talking about tonight and probably go off on like 10 million gazillion tangents. We're going to be talking about the musical Bye Bye Birdie from 1963. And I'm going to let Heather take it away because she's our little researcher of the night to tell us all the fun things that I feel like we were just speaking code,
like,
Heather.
synchronized, like glasses.
Okay.
Yeah, stick together.
Brianna and Raven Earth are here. Aaron Williams are here. Hello. And if anybody didn't see the movie, Yolanda did find it on Daily Motion. So it's on Amazon and Daily Motion as well. So back to you, my girl.
Yeah. I think it's funny. Brent was asking this boy. He was like, "Wait, you're the researcher tonight?" And he was like, "You always make notes." I pretty much make notes at every movie that I ever watch. So, 1963, Bye Bye Birdie. We've got the director in George Sidney. This film was actually a book before. It was also a Broadway play, still well known as a Broadway play. Before it became the film in 1963, it was nominated for 2 Oscars. I think it was nominated for a bunch of Academy Awards and Golden Globes. It won nothing. However, it was nominated for a bunch of stuff. Essentially, if you're not familiar with the story, it is the tale of Conrad Birdie. He is a very famous rock star in the early 60s. He gets drafted into the army in a very cruel turn of events. And so he's going on kind of a farewell tour with Ed Sullivan to a small town in Ohio, and he's going to have one final symbolic farewell kiss with one of his #1 fans. That's one part of the story. The other part of the story is kind of all about Albert, who is this down on his luck chemist turned songwriter who's trying to live under the thumb of his really overbearing mother, which I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about. And so he gets pulled into this gig by his lovely leading lady, Rosie, who I happen to love, to write a song for this farewell tour. And he's going to write the song. He's going to earn a lot of money so that he can actually marry Rosie. Is the plan. A lot of things ensue. There's a lot of funny moments, I think, but that's kind of the gist of the story. Kind of some fun facts about everything that went down in the movie. I guess in his autobiography, Dick Van Dyke said that he wasn't the biggest fan of Anne Margaret, who happens to play Kim, because the whole kind of what I know Bye Bye Birdie by is that very first, like the intro title scene, and then the ending where she's singing the title song, which is Bye Bye Birdie. That originally was not part of the film. It was not supposed to start or end that way, but George Sidney had such a thing for Anne Margaret that he created this place for her to showcase her talent. So that's the reason why Dick Van Dyke was not the biggest fan of her. I don't actually think Paul Lynde, who played her dad, was a fan either. Yeah, Paul Lynde, right? What was it? Arthur on Bewitched? I think that was his name. Anywho, so there was a little bit of drama, I think, not necessarily during the filming, but kind of post everything. I think that all kind of came out, that there was a little bit of drama there. And actually, the director, I think it was Columbia Pictures, maybe, that was the film house for this. They didn't actually pay for that opening sequence. The director did because he so wanted to include that part for her. So I think he got paid back after the film was released. But yeah, a little bit of drama there. Let's see what else. Oh, clearly it is kind of a parody of Elvis because of the whole draft thing, big rock star. Clearly a parody of Elvis. Elvis himself actually wanted to play the part, and they had wanted him, but his manager told him that he could not because they didn't want him to do a spoof of himself. And so that's why he didn't actually play the role, which is kind of interesting because then it would have just been maybe more of like another Elvis film instead of like this big kind of thing on its own. I don't think Anne Margaret would have had the role that she had, maybe because of that. So those are just kind of some little fun facts. This was Dick Van Dyke's very first feature film, and it must have come out around the same time as they were filming Dick Van Dyke's show. So this was kind of his debut. Other people who are in the film, you've got Dick Van Dyke as Albert, you've got Janet Leigh as his leading lady Rosie. Anne Margaret played Kim, who was the lucky high schooler, and then Hugo was her jealous boyfriend. And then we've got Paul Lynde as the father, and Maureen Stapleton as Dick Van Dyke's mother. So there you go. Everything in a nutshell.
I love that. Lizzie Violet just said, I think Elvis doing a spoof of Elvis would have been a blast. I would have watched that. I agree. I think they totally missed out because I think the Birdie part was so small that it wasn't really about him. I mean, that would have just, I don't know, that would have made it.
I think it would have been hilarious.
Hysterical. I would have loved it. That's Tom Parker's manager for you, Aaron says. Yeah, bad advice. So with that, if you guys in the comments did watch it, let me know what you thought about it. And if you guys are watching in recording, there'll be a little poll up there. Let us know if you liked the movie or not, if you did watch it. But I'm going to start with JL. She was over there giving a yawn. I caught you.
Sorry. It's a sleepy day.
So let us know, had you seen the movie before we watched it for this, and what your overall thoughts were on it?
I have seen it quite a few times. I think the first time I actually saw it, I think I was in 8th grade. And I thought we watched it at school, and my teacher had like some reason for like historical reasons for playing it for us. I'm not really sure what it had to do with an 8th grade curriculum, but that's the school that I went to. So, and I always loved like old movies and musicals. So I just sort of was like down with it. Even though I had never seen it, I remember like we would be like singing the Bye Bye Birdie song and like the Conrad, we love you, Conrad. I think part of it might have been because the school, either the junior high that I went to or the high school, was doing a production of Bye Bye Birdie. I think that's why she like slipped it in like on a rainy day or something. I don't know. But I loved it. I always have. I like the kind of like cheesy, overacted musicals. I just think they're fun to watch. It's not, it's just fun to watch it. It's obviously like a comedy, and I feel in some ways because there's so many musical numbers, it's almost like takes into like that slapstick comedy, because the dancing is just so kind of over choreographed and goofy, and you just watch it going like nobody really like breaks out in song and dance like that. So I kind of like, because I think it kind of like, I know, right?
Have you not seen our hallway videos from Viva? It happens.
Different Viva. But I just think that they're just fun to watch, and we sort of talked about this before, that we don't really get these kind of movies made anymore. Like, for whatever reason, people just don't create movies with this format anymore. So I think it's kind of a lost art to do a movie and to make it last, and to kind of make like the subject matter last, because in the end it was more of a story of like these like these relationships between these couples, and what Conrad's arrival is sort of doing to these relationships. So I feel like that kind of, schoolgirl crush, and the woman that's been dating and engaged to the guy for like 5 years, and it's kind of like, when are we going to get married? I think that those kinds of things like still kind of resonate with us today, and I feel like it kind of like, no matter how old you are, it kind of takes you back to like that schoolgirl crush days. And so I think it's just a fun movie.
Excellent. This was my first viewing of it. I know, shocking, right? I had never seen it. As much as I love musicals, I just had never gotten around to it. And I will tell you this, I hated the opening. So the director that paid for the whole Anne Margaret thing, bad. Because I think because of that, it took me about halfway through the movie for me to really start to like it. And honestly, it was that scene where the crazy dancing happens with all the kids. And then at that point, I was totally in, and I loved it. And I thought it was just this over-the-top, like, just comical take on the Elvis craze, and honestly, the what is it? Not the Jonas Brothers, but Third Dimension. Oh my God, I sound like such an old lady right now.
One Direction.
One Direction.
God. Back to the Jonas Brothers.
Oh my God, you guys can't make me laugh like that.
Brothers. We were all about stop.
I mean, I totally love that Paul Lynde was in it. He is one of my all-time favorite people, from Bewitched, but also from the game show with Hollywood Squares.
Sure.
Absolutely, he's so, in my mind, like iconic to my childhood. Just that voice, that face, and everything about him. So I absolutely love that. I do have to say, like, the first half of the movie, and I'm like, I know you're a comedy, and I know you're a parody, but, like, when he arrives, and she's like, oh, you're here to kiss me, and, like, everybody cheers and leads them up to the steps, it reminded me of, like, marital rights, like, in, like, I don't know if they're in medieval times, where they would actually march the couple to the bedchamber, and they would stand there while they consummated things. And I was just like, oh my God, it's just so over the top, and how it just really, really took me a long time to get to that point where I actually enjoyed the musical. And once, because I was literally thinking, because this is a pick that you guys had, and I was just like, I'm not going to like this movie. I want to like this movie. But honestly, Anne Margaret, except for the dancing, which I felt like in that scene, which I did love so much, she turned into the Anne Margaret that I know her of, like that seductress side. And I'm like, you don't even seem like a teenager anymore. But I dig it. But then when they got to the Shriners with Janet Leigh, I was so in. I loved it. It was so ridiculous and fabulous. And there was just a lot of, like, really, really cheeky subtext to it that I thought was really, really fun. So at the end of the day, I probably would watch it again, but I don't know. Anne Margaret was a little hard for me to take in a lot of the scenes. What do you think, Howard?
I agree. I watched this probably around the same time as JL, so like around probably 7th or 8th grade. And I must have had the soundtrack to this, because rewatching it, I like very distinctly knew every single song, and I was that seems uncanny. So I'm pretty sure that somewhere along the way the musical soundtracks come and go in my life, so I'm sure somewhere I've had that in my world. But yeah, I agree. I felt like the whole time I kept thinking, is this really a high school? Even like the campus itself felt like a college, like a university. And like, I don't know, I had a hard time dealing with the fact that these were supposed to be high schoolers. And I don't know, that threw me off a little bit. But I did love the teenager, like all of the scenes with like all of the teenagers and the dancing and all of that. I loved, clearly because of the fashion, played a huge role in why I loved that. But I think even just like that, like you said, kind of that like teen idol sort of feeling that you get, like you can kind of read that in those scenes. And I don't think you get that from a lot of the other stuff. It feels too mature in a lot of the other stuff. But I feel like that, especially what was the girl, Ursula, was that her name? And then like the telephone scene. So like when they're calling each other on the phone and like that whole scene, that's when the movie starts for me. Like, I think anything before that, I'm like you. I've always hated that very first scene. And that's always what I remember when I think about the movie, is that, and then the We Love You, Conrad song, but because that one always gets stuck in your head. But I always think of that scene and think, oh, I don't know that I like that movie. I don't remember loving it. And then once I get to like the television, then I'm like, oh yeah, we've got Janet Leigh and that whole with Albert, Dick Van Dyke. Like, I love their story. I think that's like the strongest part of the as far as story goes, is their love story and him like trying to get past his mom and trying to please everybody. Like, I love his part of the story. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Anne Margaret in this until the end, when she's I like it when she's in the scene where she's undressing and putting on like the big sweater and the ball cap. Like, I love that part of it, because again, that seems a little bit more of like that growing up. Like, you can kind of feel like she's trying to decide how to grow up, and she's just been pinned. And so she's like transitioning between like girl and woman. And I think she looks like a girl there when she puts on the ball cap and puts her hair up. So I think that feels right. But then I don't like her again until she's wearing like the little pink like two-piece doing the little dance at the end. Like, those are my two favorite scenes with her, and everything else I'm like, I like you, but not particularly for this movie. So
Well,
it
has me kind of thinking now, like, I wonder if they did that intentionally, like made her childlike to mature after meeting the Elvis character, to kind of how Priscilla did, because it was like there was the Priscilla when she met Elvis, and then there was the Priscilla he vamped her out to be.
Right.
So I don't know. I wonder if they were that smart to actually intentionally do that.
Let's pretend so we like it better.
Okay. And just to catch up, Yolanda, also her favorite scene is the telephone scene. And the kid with the puberty voice.
I love
it. And apparently, Mary said there was a Mad Men episode where they did a diet soda commercial take on the movie.
Yes.
I keep trying to watch that show for the fashion, but
I was going to bring that one up, that
I forgot.
He was so popular at that time that these like diet soda execs wanted an Anne Margaret lookalike to do like a song. They wanted this whole commercial, and they wanted exactly like the opening sequence from Bye Bye Birdie. And so they do all this work for it, and then they watched it, and then the diet soda people go, we don't like it. We want to go in a different direction. It's just not working for us.
I forgot all about that. That was a great episode.
So basically they had a chick walking on a treadmill with a fan blowing. I kept waiting for her to fall off that treadmill. Not going to lie.
Forward, yeah. It was funny, but they had like the screen, and they had the dress, and like the wind machine. Yeah, it was funny.
Aaron says Third Direction, LOL, like Invasion of the Bong Snatchers. That movie still needs to be made. And I believe Yolanda and Mary are talking about Paul Lynde when they said that he did the voice of the rat in Charlotte's Web. A lot of people talking about how Charlotte's Web's the saddest movie, but also how it's done in a lot of high schools, and a lot of people have actually done that and Fiddler, their high school.
I think partially why I do it so much is because we did, like when I was in high school and junior high, like I had a lot of groups of friends, but the theater kids was like, there was one particular group of theater kids, because even the theater kids were like separated off. And so I remember like this one being done in high school, and yeah, I mean, I remember like sitting around, and we would like, they would sing it, we would all sing it too. So like this movie has like a lot of, not just from like seeing it from junior high going forward, but even just like the theater kids being into it. It was like a very big production in high school to do Bye Bye Birdie, to be part of Bye Bye Birdie. It was like a big deal.
I don't think we ever did it. I mean, we did South Pacific and Greece and like a lot of the other like big ones as well, but I don't recall ever doing Bye Bye Birdie.
If you got into a musical at the high school that I went to, it was like a really big deal, because those were the ones that the kids, like the theater kids, like really fought over hard trying to get into, were the musicals.
Yasmin Padilla, did I read the first comment? The first comment I see is actually Mary saying, hello, gals. So I'm not sure if there was something else I should have seen. Yolanda is saying she liked Anne Margaret better in the Grumpy Old Men movie more than this movie, and Viva Las Vegas, while her younger years. How old was Anne Margaret when she did this movie? Do we know?
I don't know. Let's look and see.
What? Erin also said she couldn't stand Anne Margaret. Wait, Okay, so Mary is saying she agrees about Aunt Margaret, especially since she lives 45 minutes from Slipper's Bar in Wabasha. Slipper's Bar? Please, if you would explain a little bit. Because I know there's probably a connection and I just don't know what it is.
So she would have been like 22. 21.
22? 21? Okay. I want to go to Maud's.
Yeah.
I want a bar to look like that. I want those little flaming torches.
Mm-hmm.
I want all the bad Asian restaurant decorations. And I want to go in there with my girls and, like, throw my tassels around.
Definitely.
I want Janet Leigh's two-piece fringe dress.
I was all into it except for the tie, like the corseting ties right here. I did not like that.
Yeah.
Everything else totally into.
I agree.
Because you could definitely see some more, even with it being early 60s, you could definitely see some more of the 60s fashion influences on the movies. Like the like ruffles on the sleeves that they had, because her little, I think it was the pink outfit that you were talking about with the little ruffled layers. Absolutely adore that outfit. Reads very, very 50s.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. No, I don't know if I've lost the comments or something. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can Google this Slippers Bar. Slippers Bar. Bye Birdie. I need to know, Mary. Facebook.
Uh-oh. Where did Jen go?
Oh, me? Right here? I'm right here.
Okay.
I see you.
It could have been me.
Okay. I think there might be a bar in Wisconsin. Did she answer yet? Oh, she says Slippers Bar was in Grumpy Old Men.
Oh.
It's all coming.
I am so sorry, you guys. Madeline says, have you girls ever watched an Esther Williams movie for one of these? I just finished her autobiography and it was amazing. I friggin' love Esther Williams.
I was just thinking about her, like, just yesterday.
So, yeah, we will definitely have to cover her at some point.
Good.
So, here's the thing. What is your favorite scene in the movie? Is it the telephone scene? Or is it something else? Like one moment that you would just love to step into, I guess. Let's start with Heather. Give me that look. She's this tiny down at the corner of my screen, but I can see when she's giving me those looks.
You can still see the look. I think I really, like, if this was something I was going to step into, I think it has to be that dancing scene at the end. The pink ruffles, all of the, like, pedal pusher business happening. Like, I love, like, you can't not want to dance when you watch that. Like, that, and I love it when movies make me want to, like, be, and I think for this film, that's probably the only spot that I really would love to just, like, hop into. It just looks like such a fun, like JL said, it's over choreographed, like, to the max. There's the girl, she's got, like, the little denim, like, capris on and the little, like, striped top that's cropped and it's super cute. And I just, like, they just look like a lot of fun. So I think that for me, because it is a fun, kind of kitschy, sort of parody-like film, like, those parts of it are what shine for me. So I love that part. That's probably my favorite.
What about you, JL?
Yeah, that's hard. I think just because I love the way they did the scene, I really like the one when they're at Kim's house and Dick Van Dyke and Janet Leigh are in the backyard and he's sort of like trying to get in her good graces again, and they do the whole like put on a happy face, and he's
Lauren
like,
just said that. That's her favorite too.
yeah, circles and the dance, and then you see like that kind of like purple like halo of her come out, and they're like dancing, and it's like this whole thing. I just think it's fun. I just always really
I do like that part.
Yeah.
In my researching, I found that song didn't test well with like preview audiences, and so they almost put on a happy face, which would have been, I think, very like a low point. Yeah. Yeah. Like I think you needed that for those characters. Like it's kind of, and now it's like an iconic thing. Yeah. So it would have been really sad to not have that in the movie.
I mean that. Lizzie says I need a hot toddy. I definitely do. That was my favorite song in the movie. Like out of all of them, even though the whole Bye Bye Birdie and is very catchy, that put on a happy face. And I was like, is this the first time that it was? Laura just says, nobody puts Dick Van Dyke in a corner. So yeah, I was like, is this where that came from? Like I didn't realize, because to me, out of all the songs, that's the one that, even never having seen the movie, that's the song that I know. Mm-hmm. I've had it, sung. Mm-hmm. Lots of cough drops. But I do have to, as much as I love the whole Shriners scene, if I was going to step into a scene in the movie, I'd have to join Heather in the little capris, and because yeah, that ridiculous dancing, I was like, I want to slow this down, learn that dance routine, and take it to Viva,
Yes, I love it.
I promise to stop coughing soon. I had to do a tour like this with the, it's terrible. Yasmin Padilla says, I love this channel because I have long hair and can't use heat hair. Oh, I plain love vintage and girls. How do you find your best vintage outfit? And Dick Van Dyke is legend, one of my faves. I swear the dancing was the same dance in Viva Las Vegas. Oh!
Could be.
We will have to watch. Why have we not done Viva Las Vegas? It's because it wasn't on Amazon or anything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to get to. It's too soon to do the dreaded question. If you could play, since it is a musical that is done so much in high schools, if you could play a role, and I'll start it off because I thought it up. And so I've been thinking about it. If you could play a role in this movie, what role would you play? I do know that, where is it? Madeline was, the telephone hour was her favorite because she performed it in a recital once, and she sang with the squeaky voice guy. She said she had a ton of fun with it. And also let us know in the comments if anything, anybody else has actually been in this play. And Brianna is just over the moon for your hair, Heather.
Oh, yeah.
She put the moony eyes. I know. She even has the little Aunt Margaret bow in today. I love it. Oh, so cool. So this may take everybody by surprise, but I would play Albert's mom. I think her character is utterly ridiculous in the best sense of it. I love that he's all worried about his mom, and thinking that she doesn't know anything, where she does know everything, and she's off getting herself a man because she's over at Maud. I mean, you would be marrying the guy with the bar that I love, right? So why would I not want to play her? I just think she was so, with her fur coat, and you could just go so like over the top with her. And I think she was such a small character, but I don't know, she made a fun impression on me, and so I would say I would want to take her part. And let us know in the comments what part you would take. And plus, I don't think there's any singing in it, even though I do love to sing. I do so horribly. Horribly. So I will go this time with JL.
Well, now that you took Albert's mom, that was one of like my initial thoughts. I think, 'cause I agree, she would be a really fun character to play. I think another really fun character to play would be Kim's dad. I know I'm not a dude, but I just think that he would just be a fun character to get. And I love, then we could do the duet for kids. Because I think that's such a hilariously fun song, and that's.
Oh yeah, I forgot that she sang in that one. Yes, that was a great scene. I love that scene. I forgot about that. Thank you, JL.
But I love her dad, because her dad was just, like totally different care. Like, she's calling him by his first name, and he's like, oh, that's so like progressive. Isn't that great? And everything's la-di-da until Conrad gets to town, and then all of a sudden he's just like, what? And then he's like flipped and like just going off, and then he and Albert like conjure up this company, this like business thing that they're gonna go into together. So then he's all on
the speed. Okay, I'm sorry. That was just, they created a drug. It's speed.
Then he's on like the Conrad train again. So I just think like he's just a hilarious character, the way he's like flip-flopping through the whole movie. So I think he would be really fun to play.
Yeah, definitely. He was super fun. I think it would kind of be fun just to be Conrad. Like, what a fun, like,
all that hip shaking.
Yeah, just what a fun, like, silly thing to role to play. And it's not a huge part, but I just love, he's just ridiculous. Like, he's just absolutely ridiculous. And the fact that, like, all the swooning scenes, and I don't know, just, it cracks me up. It just made me laugh. So I think that would be fun. Also, I kind of want, side note, I kind of want some Birdie merchandise. And I need to know where one might be able to purchase, like the big pins. And there was, his belt buckle. I was like, I need some of that somewhere. So I think that would be just.
I think we could come up with a craft night or something.
We should. And even like the jackets, like how they had the smocks in the mailroom when Rosie went down to the mailroom to pick the girl who would win, like the little pink smocks with the Birdie logo on the back. I was like, man, he had his like industry like wrapped around his finger. I don't know. I loved him.
You guys are both reminding me of like, this was like, most of these things were like pre-falling in love with the movie. And I'm like, yeah, I did love that whole scene where they go down into the like the fan mail processing area. And when she tries out calling her mom by her name, because haven't we all done that? You get to that point in your life where you're like,
she asked for that for the cigarette.
Yolanda wants to be Rosie. Erin would like to be Janet Leigh's character. I did figure out how to mute my microphone. Talk amongst yourself for just a second.
Ooh, random fun fact about Janet Leigh's character is that they had almost cast, and I maybe shouldn't tell you this because this might be my pick, they had almost cast Rita Moreno for Rosie, who was Anita in West Side Story. So, like, it would have brought, because in the book and in the play, Rosie, there's a lot of Latina references to her character. She even has a song, I think, in both of those that is more along those lines, and it's just not in the film. They just gave Janet Leigh a dark wig. And so I thought that was a really fun fact and could have been, so, you know, if you're going to ask that question.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I might. You can't use it as
I thought she would have been a great Rosie as well.
Erin wants to be Vivian Lee or Janet Leigh, which is exactly the mistake she made and was like, losing my mind. A couple people wanting to be Paul Lynde. Mary says she has really good tenor, so she would want to be a fella.
I'm a tenor.
Are you really?
Yeah, I am.
I'm a whatever the note you're not singing is what I am.
Like, might be able to carry most of the tune, but there's some places that are going to go sharp or flat, so.
And then someone needs to make the pins and the smocks. I should get the just for time's sake, if you know what, Yasmin, if you have any hair questions, go ahead and email me at avintagevanity@comcast.net. I feel like I can get, like, if I go into a hair thing, I'm gonna be off on a tangent. But these, I do use a little bit of extra hair in here, and it's from Irresistible Me. Where was I? Who you'd want to be. Okay, it's 9:46. I'm going there. I'm going to okay, and Elvis can't be picked. Rita Moreno can't be picked.
Her tongue out.
That's what I get for sharing my knowledge. I was trying to save you from a cough attack.
And the question that everybody loves to hate is, who could be replaced in this movie, and who would you replace them with, and who could absolutely not be replaced? I will start because it gives them time, even though they always know it's coming, and they should think about these things. And so should I. I never think beforehand. You know what? I'm going there. I'd replace Anne Margaret. Didn't like her. What we gonna do? Who would I replace her with, though? Because she has to. Oh, Sandra Dee.
God dang it! You're taking my answer.
Because I was just thinking, you need somebody that has that sweetness to her, and I just really think the movie really did kind of suffer. As much as I love that scene with all of them dancing, and that was the moment that made me remember, like, that is the Anne Margaret that I like. That is when I like her, but it was so off for that character. It was like, whoa, where did she come from? She's like a sex pot in this little high school. I mean, the girl shouldn't know how to use those hips like that at that age in that 1963. But so I did like it, but I didn't like it for her. And I really think that character almost needed to stay innocent and stay that fangirl who was trying to find her place to really make the movie even and consistent. The person I don't think this movie could do without, and I'm really, really torn because I want to say Paul Lynde because I freaking love him. But and then Dick Van Dyke. I can't decide between the two of them. I don't think I could give up either one of them. Because Dick, just that character, I don't think without that humbleness about him, I don't think, I think he could have easily came off too much of a mama's boy where you would be like, why does Rosie even want to be with a man like that? But he played it in such a way that you could see that he was a genuinely good guy underneath it all. And then Dick just has that great comedic timing of falling down the stairs. And I don't know, I feel like it just could have gone to a not as great place without him. So that's where I'm going to go. Who wants to go next? Any volunteers? I'm going to go Trail.
Okay. I'm going to say the person that I feel like cannot be replaced, I'm going to agree with Jennifer and say Dick Van Dyke. I just feel like, you know, there are some roles that are defined by the actor that plays them, and I feel like that is his role. There's only one other actor that I could say could maybe slide into his place, but I still don't think it would have been the same character. So I'm going to say Dick Van Dyke was kind of made for that role. As far as who I think could be replaced, I didn't really like, now that I'm older and I've seen the movie, I didn't really like the character that played Conrad Birdie. There was just something about him that I was just kind of like, I don't know. I just didn't buy him as that character. I felt like there were some points where he almost looked too old.
He was a lot. I think he was, I mean, he was in his 30s, so he was, 12, 15 years older than high schoolers.
Well, and I know that this character is supposed to be older, but in a way, I almost felt like there were a few scenes where I was like, he just looked like the parents' age group, and I know he was supposed to, Conrad Birdie was probably supposed to be somewhere in like mid-20s, I'm assuming, is sort of the age.
Yeah, it's like they grabbed the 70s Elvis instead of like the 50s Elvis, you know?
I was like a little, yeah. And I just didn't think he just acted very well in general in the movie. I was just kind of like, they were like, we can't get Elvis. Let's get like Elvis stand-in, like his, like, what is that called? His stunt double, who like can't act, have him play.
I think he actually did, he had a very short career. I think he actually did play it on the Broadway stage.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Oh, I know Dick Van Dyke did, and I know Paul Lynde did, but he may have.
He was in the national tour of the musical Bye Bye Birdie.
Yeah.
Richard Gautier. Now I'm just making them fashion designers.
Yeah.
He played the original guy. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry, looking at a picture of this guy, I can't see him in that role either. I'm sorry, JL, to interrupt you.
That's okay. But I'm also struggling with like.
Who would you put in his place besides Elvis?
Yeah. And not even necessarily it being Elvis. Like, I'm okay with it being another actor. I'm just trying to think of someone. I felt like it needed to be a little bit more bad boy and a little bit less doofus, because I felt like this actor played him very much doofy. Like, he was a total doofus. I didn't get why the girls would be into him. If I was in high school and like that's how the dude acted, I would just be like, no.
Talking about all his tension.
So we need like a musical James Dean. maybe.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know. Like if James Dean was like a rock star and there was like an actor, like
I'd say that's legit. You could pick James Dean as a rock star with a singing voice.
yeah.
I
Birdie,
completely. And if you think of anybody else, but I will completely take James Dean.
I'll take James Dean in anything.
Yeah.
I didn't like I said, I felt like that actor played, I felt like he played like way too like, I don't know, just like a doofus and like stupid and brainless. And like Elvis was a very smart businessman.
Mm-hmm.
He was not, I felt like he was very much less heartthrob and more like jerk face.
Yeah.
So I just didn't
Lizzie Violet says maybe Ricky Nelson.
Oh.
See,
I like Ricky Nelson. That's
Lizzie
a good
is completing your thoughts tonight, JL. Just to bring it up, Yasmin said, does anybody else notice the gorgeous blue dress behind JL there?
Oh, it's blocking the light and the reflection of my messy bedroom.
But it's so pretty. And it's kind of appropriate, too, for the movie. Yes. So, are we wearing that to Viva? Is that what that's for there?
Yeah.
Going to Vegas?
And sent it to you guys a while back when I got it. That was when I got on Poshmark, I think, that Heather had been eyeing too.
Yeah, it was in my
stole from her.
It's okay.
All right, Heather.
Okay.
She's sweating.
I think like everyone else, I can't get rid of Dick Van Dyke in anything. I love him. I feel like in any sort of goofy role that's like some sort of like softy, heartfelt kind of guy, Dick Van Dyke is your guy. Like you can't go wrong with him. So I definitely, that's hands down for me. Like even when I watched it again and remembered that he was in it, it was just like, oh, like I always get that like, oh, reaction with him. I don't know the thing. I didn't like a lot of, but we've talked. And Margaret, maybe someone like Connie Francis. And fun. I don't know, because she kind of has that sweet, but then still, like, she could be in that growing up phase. She might have been fun. But then I was also thinking for Hugo, the boyfriend, because he was he was a good nerd, but he was, like, almost too nerdy for me to, like, believe that she would be into him after all of that. So, I don't know. I was thinking maybe someone like Bobby Darin. Would have been a better choice for him. Also, like, because he could sing also. But he has kind of that good boy vibe of someone that you kind of always go back to. You know, like you get your bad boy, but then you always come back to this. And I just feel like Bobby Darin kind of carries that little bit of that with him.
Because I never at any point during the movie thought that Anne Margaret was really all that into Conrad Birdie, besides being part of the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So
like there was chemistry between anyone, really, concerning.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's because of the guy that they had, because they had a 50-year-old man playing Conrad.
Maybe.
Yeah.
When I was talking about Anne, Aaron said Olivia Newton-John, maybe? Lizzie would have replaced Anne Margaret with Shirley MacLaine. She's not like her. She says you cannot replace Paul Lynde in his voice.
Because I feel like Anne Margaret, like her voice with those songs is so distinctive. Like whoever you replace her with would have to have like a big voice.
Yeah, you know what's funny to me?
I didn't like Anne's voice.
Horrible in the opening. Like she just sounds awful in the opening number. The rest of the time she sounds great. She sounds fine. But I thought you spent a lot of money for her to sound really terrible.
Yeah, I don't know. When I think musicals, I think of like West Side Story, Oklahoma, like ones where like they have these amazing voices and it just wasn't wow. I mean, well, Dick Van Dyke can sing to me anytime, but
it was a little bit Hairspray. Kind of had the Hairspray vibes to where it's not like
a little bit.
Yeah, it's where it's not like they're these professional musical actors, I guess, is what I mean by that. I much prefer Hairspray, I think. But but it kind of has that same feel to where it doesn't take itself seriously enough, maybe, for people who have these really professional, other than like Hugo had a great voice, Dick Van Dyke, but then other than that, everyone else.
I guess I just wanted Anne to have a better voice. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I really just don't like her in this movie.
I agree.
A lot of people agreeing about Conrad seeming too old for it. Jin Young Yang really liked it when Hugh punched Birdie. Yeah. Mary said that it was a cute kitsch movie for sure, but there's a lot of characters that bugged her. She found herself looking for vintage stage props and decor doing it. I found myself looking a lot more at what they were wearing, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but
yeah, I agree with that. Definitely.
And people all down for the Ricky Nelson and Connie Stevens. Apparently Lauren and her dad can't handle Anne Margaret's voice, and her mom gets all defensive about it.
I think we had an Anne Margaret Christmas album when I was little, and I hated it so much.
Who played Gidget movies again?
Huh?
Who played Gidget?
Sandra Dean.
Mm-hmm.
It is? Okay. Then yeah, like I would say like her in that character. The only thing that I would say with Anne Margaret and kind of like when she started kind of the, I don't know, like the sexier look, I think part of that and probably part of why they wanted Anne Margaret was because she's trying to like convince her boyfriend that everything's okay, you know, like wink wink, I'm just gonna go to this kiss and it doesn't really mean anything. And she's sort of like, because that whole scene she was like, I'm becoming a woman. So I think that whole like sexier side that started sort of trickling out was sort of a result of that. But I could have
seen that maybe, but if it wasn't so professional seductress.
Like she knew what she was doing.
Oh yeah, if she had done it before, like this is how I got this role, honey.
Not well. Clearly, it was so.
Bye, Aaron. Aaron said someone's at the door, and that's all we've heard. No. Crystal says, honestly, in musicals, I expect show-stopping voices, but it was Anne's voice that caught me off guard and kept me watching. So, obviously it worked. I mean, it got nominated for a bunch of stuff. So, apparently Anne Margaret was okay in it. And I mean, as far as roles, where was she? Do we know?
I feel like she's young, but I don't think it wasn't one of her first roles.
Acting.
For sure. I don't know why I can't.
Her first role is 1961. Third film.
Okay.
And then after this is Viva Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. Kitten with a Whip. The Pleasure Seekers. So obviously she's getting...
It got better.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, too. I don't think Janet Leigh should be overlooked in this either. I really think her being in this seems like, at least from how I know her, a real departure from what she normally does. And I thought she did a really good job in it.
I liked her. I liked her character a lot, actually. I know a lot of people, apparently, like a contentious point of her playing the role, but I thought she did great, and she played it very cool. Like up until like maybe the pajama scene, like she was just like a little cool cucumber, even with like all of the drama with the mama. So I liked her. I thought she did.
I love her pajamas, by the way. I want pajamas with little bottoms underneath them.
Same.
I know. I wish we could get away with wearing that down for breakfast at Viva.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be nice. Nope, moo-moos. It'll be moo-moos.
Pretty soon.
All right, so we are getting to our time. Sorry, I feel like I want to sit back from the camera because I'm just too much in my face today. In the comment section, either after this video posts or now, feel free to give us suggestions for the movies because we did Bye Bye Birdie was a suggestion, and I'm really sorry because I can't remember who suggested it last month. I think next month we're going to be looking to go towards, what do we think? We did a film noir, and then we did musical. Do we want to be dramatic next month?
Perhaps.
Perhaps. We're open for next month. So just as long as it's not a movie, we don't like to do the same types 2 times in a row. Mary says we can wear anything we want. It's Vegas, for Pete's sake. That's true. That's true. Poor Colleen, man. In Vegas, that first year she went, got accosted by like Toy Story characters up on the strip.
Oh man.
It was quite Buzz and Woody.
That sounds terrifying.
And I think Woody brought a friend with him.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it was actually pretty bad. Beach party movies from Nicole. So suggestiones. I have to cough again. Heather Jail, say something.
I was almost thinking we need to do like a really like dramatic, sappy love story. I feel like we haven't done something like that in a while.
Yes, sappy love story.
Yeah.
I like it.
We just to be inclusive, we would, as much as I do love Holiday Inn, it's one of my favorite movies, we do like to stay non-holiday themed, so everybody that comes and watches it doesn't feel like if they don't celebrate that holiday.
Holiday by Katharine Hepburn is not a Christmas movie, however.
What was that?
The Holiday by Katharine Hepburn is not a Christmas movie.
Oh.
It's really good. Not a Christmas.
What about a dark romantic comedy, The Apartment with Jack Lemmon and Shirley MacLaine?
Oh, I've seen that one.
Mm-hmm.
Lauren's mom wants us to do Gidget movies. I had such a crush on Moondoggie. That's her mother. Oh my God, I did too.
Love Gidget.
Moondoggie was the best. Oh, I've seen all the Gidget movies. I actually binge. Like, I'll get in a mood. Well, this is essentially what it is. When I can't find Anne of Green Gables because it's not streamed anywhere, and I really don't want to buy DVDs, I watch Gidget movies.
Mm-hmm.
Lizzie also says, Barefoot in the Park with Robert Redford and Jane Fonda. Isn't that really sad, though? I feel like that's really sad.
We're trying to depress ourselves.
I'm in a room. I want happy endings. Well, not happy end. You know what I mean. What was the one? What's the one?
Dr. Zhivago.
That's such a good movie, though.
I've never seen it.
Oh, one day we'll do it. Not this time. Splendor in the Grass is one of my all-time angsty love stories. Oh.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
Lizzie Violet says, Goofy love story, bringing up Baby with Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn.
My favorite, for sure.
That's a cute
Nicole says, Anna Green Gables and Gidget, we're kindred spirits. We are. I think all of us are kindred spirits on this. There are a lot of British ones too. I will try to think of some. Yeah, and feel free if you're thinking of any. It will probably take us, I will say a couple days, and it'll be like a week and a half. But we did get better. We got better this month. We posted it beforehand.
Yeah. We're trying over here.
The Ghost of Mrs. Muir. I believe, isn't that one that JL that you brought up before too? The Ghost of Mrs. Muir.
I think it's been brought up a couple times.
Okay.
Maybe Heather brought it up, and I think it's been brought up in the comments too.
Okay.
That one, it was or is on Netflix.
Ooh.
I'm not sure on. I know they just purged a bunch of stuff, so I don't know.
I think that the movie channel might have like a movie vault that you can access online now. I don't know, but it's something. But then again, I don't know if I want to pay for another service to watch things. All right, guys.
You have to have cable for it, or like dish satellite service. So if you don't have those two things, because we're too cheap to buy that stuff anymore.
I don't blame you. I wouldn't do it if I didn't have to.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I get. God damn it. At least that one wasn't as bad.
Poor thing.
Continue, but you know what? As horrible as it sounds, it's actually doing something now. I've been sick for a week, and most of it's just been like just sitting on my chest and not been doing anything. So at least now, I'm hopeful that it will be fine in 2 days. 2 days, giving it 2 days, picking it out. Continue to leave us movie suggestions in the comments, and feel free to pass them along on Facebook as well. We kind of gather those all together, and then we get on the interwebs, and we try to figure out where they are, because sadly with a lot of these movies, they're really hard to find streaming. We try to make it as available for everybody as possible. Thank you guys so much for coming out. We had a lot of you out tonight. You guys always make things better. And sadly, I don't even think the League of Decency came out tonight. Apparently, we were on our best behavior today. So no League. All right, so guys, take care. We will see you soon. Stop by. If you're missing us in the meantime, go check out How to Be Fancy. She's got some great videos up, and JL had a new video that came out recently, so go up onto Modern Retro Gal. Check that out. I am the bad girl right now. I did not put out a new video next week, but we've got one coming up. I'm going to say it tomorrow. 2 videos, 2 days, back to back. Going to do it. What are you going to do? Don't know what it's going to be yet. I have a couple of them. But have a great night, guys. From all of us here, thank you so much for coming out. Heather, do you want to say goodbye? Jill?
Bye, guys.
Bye.
And we will see you in December for the next live stream. All right, bye.